Nicknamed the city that never sleeps, New York City. Join me as we explore this amazing city together. Now on this trip, I went with British Airways because I had to shoot a content at the airport and also because I love their food. So I got to London Heathrow 6 hours after leaving Accra, and this is the main international serving airport in London and the largest of the 6 international airports in London. Heathrow Airport is big and one of the beautiful airports in the world. Now you can move between gates and terminals by using the Connect train that runs every 15 minutes. It's currently Britain's busiest airport, serving millions of passengers every year. Now it's time to move to my final destination, which is New York City. And due to the connection, the entire flight duration became 14 hours. So I arrived at JFK, which is John F. Kennedy International Airport, which is the main international airport serving New York City. It is the busiest of the 7 airports in the New York airport system and the 13th busiest airport in the United States. Went through security and ordered for an Uber to my hotel.
But what's nice about New York? Everything open 24 hours. Oh. And you push the lane to the other side, automatic suspended light. Suspended light.
So the white thing on the windscreen is an automated toll collection system that allows the drivers to pay toll electronically without having to stop to cause traffic or anything. So once it uses the underground bridge, it gets scanned and they pay the toll electronically. Now, one of the main things I observed when I got to New York was their traffic. Omo, it's serious. So 5 minutes beyond traffic now is that bad? A recent report showed that New York has been labeled the most congested city in US. It has also been ranked the 5th worldwide for its traffic, and an average American loses 36 hours per year due to traffic congestion. Now, this is mainly due to truck deliveries, car ownership rising, and overpopulation. This is 34th Street, and it's a gateway to the city for visitors. It is a magnet for tourists and fans of music and sports, and of course, one of the greatest shopping districts in New York. It is also a working district with over 100,000 office workers coming in daily. Here, you can find the Empire State Building, Madison Square Garden, Moynihan Train Hall, Herald and Greeley Square plazas. Streets in New York cut from east to west, whilst avenues run from north to south. Empire State Building is the world's most famous office building, a historical landmark, and was named America's favorite architecture in a poll conducted by the American Institute of Architects. At night, the Empire State Building lights up the Manhattan skyline with a colorful view. The colors at the top of the building are changed regularly to reflect seasons, events, and holidays, so that visitors from around the world would always have a reason to look at this icon in a new light. On that same evening, I was craving some Ghanaian food, whether jollof or wachi. So I was told there's this woman who makes some special Ghanaian delicacies. So I went there and I got some wachi to eat, and I kept this flyer so that I'll help myself whenever I'm craving some Ghanaian food. Now you can hop on one of these top view buses to explore the entire city or the most parts at a cost of $100 for 3 days. Timesquare is the broadly illuminated hub of the Broadway Theater District, one of the world's busiest pedestrian intersections and a major center of the world's entertainment industry. Many of the city's landmarks, skyscrapers, and parks are known around the world. Times Square is brightly lit by numerous digital billboards and advertisements, as well as businesses offering 24/7 service. It's one of the world's most visited tourist attractions, drawing an estimated 50 million visitors annually. Approximately 330,000 people pass through Times Square daily, and most of them are tourists. New York City is an established safe haven for global investors, and as of 2023, New York is the most expensive city in the world for expatriates to live in. It is also home to the highest number of billionaires. As many as 800 languages are spoken over here, making it the most linguistically diverse city in the world. It is home to more than 3.2 million residents born outside the US, and also the most visited U.S. state by international visitors. In 2019, New York City was voted the greatest city in the world in a survey of over 30,000 people from 48 cities worldwide, citing its cultural diversity. Chinatown is an ethnic enclave of Chinese people located in Manhattan, New York. It has the highest concentration of Chinese outside of Asia, with an estimated population of 90 to 100,000 people. Manhattan Bridge is a suspension bridge that crosses the East River in New York City, connecting Lower Manhattan and Canal Street with downtown Brooklyn. It was designed by Leon Moisseiff and built by the Phoenix Bridge Company and was opened to traffic on 31st December 1909. It is one of 4 toll-free vehicular bridges connecting Manhattan Island to Long Island. The nearby Brooklyn Bridge is just slightly further downtown, and it was the last of the 3 suspension spans built across the Lower East River following the Brooklyn and Williamsburg Bridge. Brooklyn Bridge was the first fixed crossing of the East River. It was the longest suspension bridge in the world at the time of its opening. The span was originally called the East River Bridge and was officially renamed the Brooklyn Bridge in 1915. The building form most closely associated with New York City is the skyscraper, which has shifted many commercial and residential districts from low-rise to high-rise. Surrounded mostly by water, the city has amassed one of the largest and most varied collection of skyscrapers in the world. New York City has architecturally significant buildings in a wide range of styles, spanning distinct historical and cultural periods. The character of New York's large residential districts is often defined by the elegant brownstone row houses, townhouses, and tenements that were built during a period of rapid expansion from 1870 to 1930. In contrast, New York City also has neighborhoods that are less densely populated and feature freestanding dwellings. New York City was home to the world's tallest building for 75 continuous years, starting with the Park Row building, which is one of the world's earliest skyscrapers still standing. The city has two main concentrations of high-rise buildings, that is Midtown Manhattan and Lower Manhattan, each with its own uniquely recognizable skyline. Midtown happens to be the largest central business district in the world and is home to buildings such as the Empire State Building, Chrysler Building, Citigroup Center, Rockefeller Center Complex, and many more. Lower Manhattan, on the other hand, comprises the third largest central business district in the U.S. It was characterized by the omnipresence of the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center from its completion in 1973 until its destruction in the September 11 attacks in 2001. In the first decade of the 21st century, Lower Manhattan saw a reconstruction, which included one World Trade Center within the new World Trade Center complex. Given its vibrancy, liberated population, and mix of various nationalities, New York City is also known as the city that never sleeps. This is because it has a lot of 24/7 services going on. The city is the hub for political, commercial, and financial activities, proving itself as America's land of opportunities. New York has boundless opportunities for education, employment, and many more. For instance, it houses about 120 colleges known around the world for higher education. Again, New York is a wonderful city for walking, and this helps you familiarize yourself with the surroundings. If you are to travel further, there are subways, buses, and cabs at your disposal. You can get a Metro card with access to trains and buses that take you to almost every city corner. There is food everywhere, trust me. So many restaurants around the city serve food at any hour of the day or night. With immigrants and international students coming in, cuisines of various ethnicities and countries have entered the US kitchens, so you don't have to worry about food. So on this day, I decided to go on a boat cruise on the East River, and the final destination would be to view the Liberty Statue. So while on the boat, you can view the financial district of Lower Manhattan, which is a neighborhood located on the southern tip of Manhattan in New York. This district comprises the offices and headquarters of many of the city's major financial institutions, including the New York Stock Exchange and the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, that is anchored on Wall Street in the financial district. New York City has been called both the most financially powerful city and the leading financial center of the world. And the New York Stock Exchange is the world's largest stock exchange by total market capitalization. The Statue of Liberty is a neoclassical sculpture on Liberty Island in New York City. The copper statue was a gift from the people of France. She holds a torch above her head with her right hand, and in her left hand carries a tabula ansata with the inscription 4th July 1776 in Roman numerals, the date of the U.S. Declaration of Independence. A broken chain and a shackle lie at her feet as she walks forward, and this commemorates the national abolition of slavery following the American Civil War. After its dedication, the statue became an icon of freedom for the United States and is seen as a symbol of welcome to immigrants arriving by the sea.
Some memories, yeah, I don't know when a man is gonna see you again. I don't know when I'm leaving, but it's not too far from today. Let me be a family before I leave, so you don't forget me. I'm on my hands, look in my eyes and say to me something. Sit! I don't say that one more. Get out and come. Get out and come. Everything I touch is blessed.
It's almost 12 a.m. here in New York, and look at the number of people outside. Sometimes you wouldn't even see this number of people during the day. They mostly step out in the evening to enjoy some entertainment and sightseeing. According to New York Times, an average of 330,000 people pass through Times Square daily, and most of them are tourists. Times Square can be a very crowded place, and most of the restaurants and shops are sometimes filled to the brim with people. So if you are claustrophobic, you really need to avoid this place. Sightseeing at Times Square requires constant movement, and also seating is limited along the streets, and most benches and tables are normally filled with people. Since Times Square is mostly filled with people, security and police presence is heightened as compared to other spots in the city.